Hey everyone, I'm Jessica Kramer with MRC-TV. Today we're back with Ian Pryor, Senior Advisor at America First Legal, to discuss how Loudoun County is denying their public school system's attempt at stopping a special grand jury investigation. Ian, thank you for coming back on.
Thanks for having me.
So a judge rejected the effort by Loudoun County School Board to shut down the sexual assault investigations. You were present at the hearing. Can you give us a first-hand account of what you witnessed?
Yeah, so it was a packed courtroom. The majority of people, vast majority of people that were observing it were, people that have been opposing the school board's activities for the past 2 years. You had the Attorney General's office represented by Steve Pops. He's the Deputy Attorney General for the Civil Division. Also present was the Solicitor General for the Attorney General's office. And then on the LCPS side, you had Robert Falcone, who's their lawyer, and Stephen Webster, who's their outside counsel. And really, what the school system was trying to do was bring this civil action requesting an injunction to stop a criminal proceeding, a special grand jury. And the court, was really not able to find any reason why, a civil process should interrupt this grand jury, clearly finding that there was no irreparable harm that was being done by the special grand jury. That LCPS did not know what the special grand jury was doing, that nobody, quite frankly, knew what the special grand jury was doing except for the special grand jury. So for for a court to shut down that grand jury based on speculation of LCPS really was just not in the interests of justice in this case.
Doesn't it make the school board look guilty?
Well, I think filing this Hail Mary civil action in the first place certainly makes it look like they have something to hide. The fact of the matter is, if they're confident that they did nothing wrong, then they should let the process play out. And at the end of that process, if they indeed have done nothing wrong, then there should be nothing to worry about. But to go to these extreme measures to try and shut down a grand jury, which is investigating abuses in our public school system, I think says a lot, and it'll be very interesting to see whether they decide to appeal this. But the court made it clear that the judge was not going to accept an amended filing in this and reconsider it.
Yeah, the school board's saying it's political, that Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares is just going after them because he's a Republican. I guess they're admitting that they're Democrats. What do you think?
Well, that's kind of that's their play on everything. Everything is political. Glenn Youngkin is lying about Loudoun County Public Schools. This is all some kind of witch hunt. That's their play on this whole thing. But the fact of the matter is that you really don't need a special grand jury to see the genesis of this. You had a sexual assault. You had a policy that was in the process of being passed. You had a superintendent that lied about it at a school board meeting, a school board that did nothing to correct the record. And then the individual was moved to another school where a second sexual assault was happened in October. And, by all the research that we've done on the ground from Freedom of Information Act requests and whatnot, it certainly looks like they did not follow proper Title IX procedures. But they were also extremely dishonest with the public in this issue. And nobody was ever saying that they needed to come out and, explain the details of that May 28th sexual assault. But essentially, they volunteered a falsehood at a school board meeting, which then put the onus on them to correct that falsehood, which they didn't do. Not only that, but the school system didn't report that sexual assault as they were required to do to the Virginia Department of Education. And when they did file their report, it was 2 days after they passed Policy 8040. So, it stands to reason that a lot of what they did themselves was politically motivated to try and pass this policy, keep this sexual assault that occurred in the bathroom, sweep it under the rug, and then hope that Terry McAuliffe or Mark Herring would win re-election and that this would all go away after November.
Yeah. It was reported that the judge noted that even if the grand jury finds the school board guilty in some respect, they're under no obligation to change their policies. So I guess, what is exactly the point of the investigation then? How will they ultimately be held accountable for their actions or inactions?
Well, that's a good question. There's any one of, really three probable possibilities that could come from this. There could be indictments. I don't know that will be the case. There could be a report that says that, activities of Loudoun County Public Schools did not rise to the level of criminal conduct, but there are serious issues with their actions, and there could be no report at all. Ultimately, only the grand jury, the special grand jury, is going to, have insight into what is going on. And, I think that this again, this Hail Mary attempt was a bit of a reach to try and, show what the special grand jury was doing in open court so that they could use that as a political messaging point, which they ultimately were denied.
Do you ultimately think that they're going to appeal this decision?
That's a good question. I mean, if they do, it would be within the next day or so. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I mean, they're using taxpayer dollars. They have a $1.6 billion budget. They seem to have no problem appealing circuit court decisions where they have limited chances up at the Virginia Supreme Court. See the Tanner Cross case where they were roundly defeated at circuit court and then again roundly defeated at the Virginia Supreme Court. One of the things with Loudoun County Public Schools is that, every time you think that they couldn't do something dumber, they go and do that. I mean, they really are the gang that can't shoot straight. I would think their best bet is to not appeal it. Again, let the process play out, and whatever comes from this, it's on them to deal with it.
Yeah, they must really love their jobs because they keep refusing to just go away. Ian, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the update with what's going on in that crazy Loudoun County.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.